Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As looks about title of today's video, here to showcase the best point guard build you can make for Comp Pro Am in NBA 2K24. Now, what I've done in today's video, I'm giving two alternative options. One, more so focused to be a pure offensive point guard like most Comp Pro Am teams are going to be doing, but I also wanted to give an alternative option to those out there that want to be a little bit more defensive, or also just in general, the bigger point guards out there that are harder to contest. A lot of Comp Pro Am players are running builds like this, like 6'6" point guard. We've shown that in previous videos, like Chalk and Tutok have been doing the best backcourt combo there's been in 2K for the last month pretty much, and they're out there winning everything, bro. And it's with builds like this, a 6'6" point guard that is very invested in the mid-range. Like this one's going to be a 97. Some people are out there with 98. And then with the 6'4" point guard right here, I'm showcasing a build with 98 three-pointer. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all the good stuff, and like always, try to 2,000 likes. So with this one, as I mentioned, it's a very heavily invested offensive point guard. As you can see, it's enough for gold speed booster, so you have the 92 ball handle, the blow by, the speed booster, the unpluckable, all that stuff, keeping the Kyrie dribble style with the 90 speed with ball, 91 pass sack. It's a little bit over the top if you wanted to go with just 89. Tyrese Halliburton is what the quest is for getting something like this of that high of a pass accuracy. But going with a 91 allows you to get, as you can see, bailout on silver as well. And in my opinion, just a decent look as far as getting needle threader and also touch passer for that matter too. Not like it's a huge deal, but it's also something that I just find was worth going for in my personal opinion. Now, 84 mid-range, as you can see, gives you the gold mini magician. 98 three-pointer is going to be something that we're going for, which gives the gold limitless, the Hoff blinders, and the Hoff agent as well. If you went 99, you would be able to get limitless and Deadeye on Hall of Fame. And as you can see, the type of investment that we'd have to put in for a 99 three-pointer is pretty ridiculous. To just show like the finalization of it, this is pretty much a difference of 4 overall points. If you wanted to get picky with it, I guess it's technically 3, but it's almost 4. And as you can see, it's something that would cost us, let's say, pass accuracy and the perimeter defense investment just a tad bit. And then that's about it, to be fair. There's not a whole lot of crazy other investment. So while it is a very expensive thing to go for, I will say if you are interested in it, it could definitely be worth going for. But for my model right here that we're showcasing, it's going to be a 98 three-pointer build. We're missing out on Deadeye and Limitless, but I think Deadeye is more of the main concern of what you're missing out on. But even at that, you're still looking at a pretty heavily invested offensive point guard. 91 pass sack, you can make all the passes that you need. 92 ball handle gives you just enough for the speed booster, unpluckable, and blow by. Enough for the Kyrie dribble style with the 90 speed with ball. 72 prim D gives you bronze challenger, bronze fast feet, and workhorse as well, as you can see. And then even still, like the bronze ankle braces. This is mainly a build that is ideally going to be playing corner defense, but could hold its own on the hash if it has to. And then with the 83 acceleration, 86 speed, enough for the gold speed booster. I think it's a very good combination of just everything you need as far as an offensive point guard. Now, you don't have dunking on it, but obviously that's something where if you have the right spacing anyway, layups are still pretty solid. And for the most part, I would say in Comp Pro Am, it's a lot more acceptable to run inside bigs. So the less you're in the paint just in general, the better, because you should be using your pick and roller as those types of attempts rather than to be trying to do it all as a point guard, in my opinion. And the more of a threat you are on the offense as far as being a screen user and fading from 3 or fading from midi as well, or just looking for shots like that in general, or if you like to do the space creator stuff too. And then the more of a ball handling threat you are, plus the passes, I think it's a little bit more important than to be able to dunk the ball, personally. Also, if you guys didn't know, I'm pairing up with the NBA 2K Lab this year, so you can use code Laker for 20% off at checkout at their website. That's NBA2KLab.com. On this website is all types of really good statistical jump shot information. You can also test the jumpers on their website too. Plug the controller straight into your phone or to your PC. You can get early, green, late. It'll tell you where you need to adjust on that jump shot. Or if you don't know what jumper you want to run, you just go to their jump shot recommender. You punch in your height, the jump shot rating that you're working with, and then based on the milliseconds of timing that you get, it'll recommend you a jump shot. So again, if you want to use code Laker for 20% off at checkout, that's NBA2KLab.com. Appreciate you guys, and we'll get back to the video. So that is our look at the 6'4" point guard. It's a lot more close to a meta type PG than what you're going to be seeing with this build right here. Now, I did just make one edit on the build because when I initially was going to be showcasing this to you guys in this video, I was going to show the possibility of going with a 98 mid-range instead of a 97 like I did with the build. But in this one, it is a 97 mid, and we're okay with just dropping out on the Deadeye. I think once again, just like how shooting was, the investment of going for that 98 mid-range isn't quite as worth, in my opinion. If you're willing to like sacrifice the whole overall point for it, it's acceptable and okay, I guess. But anyway, with this build right here, with the dribble styles you can get with this type of a build, with the 6'6", like for instance, if Devin Booker ever comes out, it's an 80, and that is a really good one. But even still, Magic Johnson is a 75, and it's probably the one that mainly every type of build like this is going to be utilizing. If you like pro, it can be very usable in pick and roll still, in those short burst movements that we've also made a video on with the pro dribble style as well. And there's a lot you can do with builds like this. And what makes it so elite is pretty much the fact that with the same investment, sort of, as what we're looking at with that 6'4", with the fact that you get a lot of similar badges between everything like being on Hall of Fame except for Deadeye. It's just that when it comes to the 3-point type badges, you're looking at Silver Limitless, Silver Agent, which obviously is the type of hit you're going to be taking on this, but that's just the facts of being taller. You don't quite get the, the 3-point capability as those 6'4" guards get. Now, the other thing about builds like this is swing jump shots can be very good. You got things like Tracy McGrady base that are taking the game by storm with the, uncontestability that it has, and also just it's still a pretty good quick jump shot. It's not super fast, but again, it's so hard to contest, and it's the main thing a lot of people like this build right here are utilizing when it comes to the Comp Pro-Am. Now, to be fair, I think the majority of people that you see are going to come out here with builds looking more along the lines of a 77 pass hack and probably have a little bit more of an investment into their perimeter defense. If you wanted to be more of a shooting guard in general, you could obviously drop your speed with ball to like 75, your ball handle down to 86, and then your speed down quite a bit too to like even 81, and then you could get back more acceleration if you wanted, or once again, you could invest your perimeter defense into like an 87 or even like something crazy like a 94 as well, and get the strength to be able to get clamps and badges like that. But personally, I think what you want to be looking at more so is the steal rather than Prim D. I think it's a little bit easier to just invest into this, and again, if you invest really heavily into your Prim D, you have to do strength to justify it to be able to get clamps as well, which does get pretty expensive. Now, should you sit here and be concerned about running a build with 25 strength? I don't think so. I think when you're coming out here as a shooting guard in the Comp Pro-Am setting, you're not worried about people bullying you or anything like that, especially when it comes to your, like, maybe ISO defense for that matter. I mean, there's always going to be some type of center in the paint, or you will generally be able to depend on your back end to play the paint for you in many situations, between backdoor cuts or whether it's, like if you're getting drove on, the 4 should be able to play most of your drives, personally. And then obviously, you could play your own cuts of 91 steal. I mean, this is a ridiculous amount of speed and steal, especially for a point guard, for that matter. Like, this is made to play PG. Now, is it going to be a very easy time if you're going to be running a build like this and have no other options on the court to go to? No, not really. I mean, this is definitely intended to have a really good offensive 2-guard, even still at the shooting guard position. But the standards for a shooting guard, once again, are about the same similarities as far as the ball handle and stuff like that goes for a build like this. I think if you put another build around this one, where it's maybe something more along the lines of this when it comes to the ball handle, you'd be able to invest into the Prim D pretty capably, and once again, maybe more of like a low pass hack situation. Boom, yada yada. You're looking at something like this where it's like 87 Prim with just enough strength for clamps on silver, as you can see. I mean, you'd be looking at something like this at the shooting guard. And if you wanted to make something like this too and play point guard with it and just run 2 of them, I think that's even still a pretty good option. It's just your team should flex around that quite a bit. You should run something like double bigs in the corner with a back end at the 4 even still, and then you would just double up on the guards running the hash defense and on-ball defense. We ran something very similar to that. I definitely vouch for a lineup like that. It can be very good. It's just it has to be in the right hands of people that are willing to play with builds like this, where it has the lower speed with ball and ball handle. But again, if you're willing to dodge the lockdowns as well, keep it out of their hands, and avoid those people with 99 steal and stuff like that, I mean, then there you go. You'd be looking at something where you could run 2 shooting guards, essentially. But if you want to be a little bit more lenient toward the point guard style, I think this is exactly what you're looking for, with the gold speed booster, gold handles for days, all the ball handle that you would really need, a lot of the SIGs that you're going to want to be fair, a lot of the SIGs that you want are more around the lines of like 86 ball handle. You get Kimba escape moves, you get the Jamal Murray behind the back at 83. There's not a whole lot of stuff that you're really pressing for a super high ball handle for. This is just more to talk about the badges in terms of what you're going to be gaining off something like this. But anyway, to come back to the shooting once again, this is still a really, really elite level of shooting, between very reliable from 3-pointer. Once again, if you want to utilize this as something that you're willing to play shooting guard with, it's a really great scoring option. You can use it as an off-ball player, dexing to the mid-range and like wrapping and stuff like that too. It can be very useful. And in my opinion, this isn't a terrible level of perimeter defense in the first place anyway. Combine that with the speed being 86 and you still having great steal. You're a pretty big frame at 6'6" with a 6'8" wingspan as well. Especially if you're talking talking as a point guard for that matter, this is an elite level of defense if you're talking PGs. And no one's going to test you on your lanes. If you want to play hash D, once again, you may be looking at something where your lineup is freaky with something like this, where you could have steal 91 plus from your 1 all the way to the 4. And it's something that I'm even speaking from personal experience playing Chalk and 2Talk. It's a really annoying thing to deal with when there's so many big bodies with steal rating all over the court, and then you live by fast break on the other end. This game can absolutely be won on defense, and that's why I do vouch for builds like this. If you guys are trying to get into the comp pro community, I think it's much easier to make your mark with a build like this than it would be where you're potentially playing on something like this. And this is going to come down to a lot of your stick skill to be showing people how good you are, because you're not really going to be able to do a whole lot to prove your worth on the defensive end, because you're just kind of a cone that just sits there and you don't really do a whole lot for your team. While you may have a little bit more offensive investment and more ability to hit from 3, I think a build like this at the 6'6" can be very, very lethal, and I definitely recommend it. So anyway, I know I've been hyping this build up quite a bit right here, the whole 6'6" with the high steal and stuff like that, but we'll finally call it quits right here on the video. So I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to win to 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put 6'6" or put 6'4" in the comments, search parts mail it through, whichever one you prefer more. And again, just one last reminder, obviously a lot of SIGs can change between these two heights, between jump shots and dribble pull-ups and stuff like that. It's not really a big deal if you're not starter 3 though. There's not a ton of small guard dribble pull-ups that everybody's loving that much, and same goes for the jump shots too, to be real with you guys. I mean, T-Mac base is taking the whole game by storm, and when you're on builds like this, like the swings, it's what allows you to even run them as well. And then same with the fact that the dribble styles you get with a build like this, they support low acceleration a whole lot more than Kyrie dribble style does anyway. So again, this is just a good look at the 2 different types of point guard builds you could actually run viably in Comp Pro Am. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.